Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name is John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 45 minutes to an hour or so discussing a new program being offered by Premier Marketing to agents and others across the country that give them an opportunity to offer a program that's of need and of great interest to the general population at this time, with all of the new normal bringing about the need for additional virtual touching and delivery of care for individuals in our country. It's a program that we feel may be of great interest to you, and so we'll be spending some time on it today to make certain that this simplified program, a really easy program to use, can be of great value to you, not only as another way of reaching out to your folks, earning commission dollars on it, but serving a need that may not be fully satisfied with whatever coverage they have in play at this particular point in time. You'll notice in the software package that enables you to view this presentation, there is a section for questions and a section for chat. We ask that you put your questions in the questions box, and we feel that we may answer most of them, at least, through the course of the presentation, but we'll make certain that at the end we address everything we can at that time. If something requires additional research, we'll include it in the follow-up that will come to everybody who has expressed interest in today's webinar. So that will come to you via email, so watch your email and your spam filters to make certain that you receive that follow-up, and we'll make certain that the recording of today's presentation, it is being recorded, will be sent to you a link to that recording as part of that follow-up as well. We will also ask you to realize that everyone is muted at this time in order to take care of background noises that we normally hear in a lot of live presentations, and we ask your patience with that as well. As a bit of administrative level set, let's talk a little bit about who Premier is for those who may not be as familiar with our organization as others. We're a national marketing organization founded in 1968. It's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform with offices across the country. We act as an insurance wholesaler, delivering product to the general population through independent insurance agents such as yourself. And we do so through contracting arrangements that are at the highest possible commission levels, with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. That approach includes a robust portfolio of programs that include the basic Medicare programs of Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans, and Part D prescription drug plans, the standalone PDP programs, but also a portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, including final expense life insurance, pre-need plans, long and short-term care insurance, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits that include dental, vision, hearing programs, critical illness cancer plans, hospital indemnity and accident plans, and telehealth programs, such as the program we're discussing today. That Medicare Advantage portfolio has the national carriers in there for your disposal, and also many of the regional carriers that can make a difference for you in your market. And that same philosophy carries over into the standalone prescription drug programs, where those national players are there for you through our organization as well. Many times these programs are available as the same basic contract as the Medicare Advantage plan, but we wanted to list them out for you here. In the Medicare Supplement arena, it's a robust portfolio that has a number of programs that are set up with additional marketing incentives that come with them, and other support programs that can help you be successful in this space as well. When we talk about the ancillary products in each of those categories, the leaders in those areas are there for you through our organization, and of course, the introduction of Mdli, the telehealth program that we'll discuss today. When we look at Medicare overall, you come on presentations like this, people speak of the silver tsunami, the aging of the baby boomers, 1 every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day. But if you're looking at it based just on age, we're not seeing the full picture, since a number of the folks will actually not access their full Medicare benefits when they turn 65. They defer for one reason or another. So it adjusts that number, but we also have to take into consideration the under 65 folks that are accessing Medicare benefits because of disability. in each of these categories, a program like today's offering of telehealth through Mdli can be of great help to them, because it's a population that has some challenges with their health. 2/3 of them have 3+ chronic conditions, and they also have challenges with their income, which may influence their choice of coverages thereafter, because they have a number of them. They don't have to do anything. They can even defer Part B if they choose to do so. Most don't. But some folks will take the best basic traditional Medicare package and add on just a prescription drug program. So they have gaps there that are sometimes addressed by Medicare Supplement programs, standardized, modernized Medigap policies, or through Medicare Advantage programs, the Part C programs that incorporate in a number of coverages into the basic package. We also realize that this area of our life in the insurance world comes full of acronyms, so we're going to send you a translation guide as part of the follow-up as well, so it helps you in that area. I've been active in this space for 35 years now. There's one that pops up all the time that surprises me, and even if there weren't one that popped up, sometimes the old memory needs a little bit of a refresher, so this is a valuable piece. When we speak of today's population, why do we go through a bunch of these statistics when we talk about the Medicare population? Well, a lot of the folks, the majority of folks that are on the phone today or accessing this webinar thereafter are very active and concentrate in the Medicare space. And we find through different surveys that, well, as Kaiser Family Foundation tells us, 57% of the population doesn't review or compare their coverages annually, as they should. And so programs like this are an outreach that enables us to reach that population outside of the SEP programs that are, or pardon me, the enrollment programs that are available to that population. We have the standard ones that go through now. We're in the OEP, and while it's an opportunity to help people change plans within the Medicare Advantage space, we have to refer to some of the other SEPs in order to change coverages as well, and that includes a detailing of what we can and cannot do during OEP, but also take advantage of the other standardized SEPs that include the basics that we see here, other additional special enrollment periods brought on by some of the weather we've encountered, and realize that a lot of the folks that aren't accessing their reviews or either choosing not to, the old decision to make a decision is a decision, but some folks have some challenges translating that material, the most vulnerable portion of it. And so reaching out with a program like what we present today not only gives us an opportunity to serve the need of the population for the telehealth component, which we'll see how that compares to some things that may come as their part of their standard plan, but it also gives us an opportunity to help those folks that aren't comprehending some of the base coverages they may or may not have in place, but also give us an opportunity then to make certain that we can deliver upon an opportunity to create a relationship beforehand so we can touch base on the other programs as they become members, and also make certain that they understand the options that are out there and if they qualify for changes in their base coverages through a special election period moving forward. Because most of them, they're not even using Medicare.gov. And so it's part of our responsibility and part of our opportunity to utilize programs such as today to satisfy that base need and then compound that discussion into other areas moving forward. And since this program is also available to individuals that are of adult age, we don't have to necessarily deal with just the Medicare population. And we see a very large number of folks under the age of 65 that are uninsured. Keep in mind, this is a 2019 survey, the latest that was available that we could find. You'll get this as well as part of the follow-up, the link to it. But it tells us that there's a great need in the general population here. And even if they have a base medical coverage, sometimes it's a very high deductible plan where what we're offering today can really ease some of the challenges they have with such a program. It's also a way for us to approach perhaps the 60 to 64-year-old population that are really feeling some of the effects of the premiums of these programs, and give us a way to create our own T65s if we're active in the Medicare market through the approach of this population as well. And we realize that this also serves as a means for us to drive up our persistency, our retention of our current book of business, because statistics show the more policies you have in a house, the better the likelihood you keep that individual as a part of your book of business. And the programs don't have to be with the same carrier as long as they're with the same agent. So it gives us an opportunity to drive that up as well. So when we speak of the new normal and how programs like today can be of help to you, we've got to realize that we take ourselves out of our own one-track, here's how we do business, here's the standard modus operandi, however you want to put it, that we follow that same path in the pasture. Creatures of habit. If we change, we can become more beautiful. You know, the old caterpillar into the butterfly story, but it also gives us an opportunity to face that change and deal with it and turn it to our advantage. Because much of what we see now, even though there are more opportunities for an individual to meet with you on a face-to-face basis, there's going to be a percentage of the folks that are never going to go back to the old way. They like the virtual touching. And we need to be prepared to pivot in those circumstances, and we'll see where the systems for today's program can really help us do that as well. Because folks are becoming much more adept. Our target audience is becoming much more adept at handling things on an electronic basis. And we have a whole bunch of folks out there that are helping train that population to do just this. And that includes the standard reach out and have a visit with your doctor, because many of those have done it virtually. I have a physician that I have seen 9 times in the past year that I've never met personally. It's all been telehealth. And you see some of that where a number of the providers try to handle a good portion of their patient base in this fashion because it's more efficient. They can still get compensated for it and protect themselves and their staff as well. So we have both doctors and hospitals training folks to do it. We even see people in the dentists that are doing it as well, where they're handling some of the basics remotely. And that's where we see some of the advantages that we have of a trained population, because, yeah, you wondered where I was going with this cartoon. It's going to help us prospect as well. So today's offering is a great way to reach out to both our book of business, to the folks we talked to in the past that didn't buy from us, and as a general approach to bring in additional people to speak with through this simple offering. Keep in mind, much of what we talk about with search engine optimization, creating your own website, the microsites that are available through a number of the different programs that you have, including the ones we're going to talk about, the one we talk about today, just because you build it doesn't mean they will come. So we need to make certain that we utilize the tools provided to us by these different contracting partners to enable us to reach out and touch people in the old vernacular of the yellow pages. And so we're entering into a new era of house calls, in a manner of speaking, and that's what we're going to talk about today with MD Live. It's important to note right off the bat that this is not an insurance product. Hence, there's no license required to sell it. Think about that for a moment. If you have staff up front that are doing administrative tasks and aren't licensed, so they're not handling some of the sales opportunities you have coming into your agency, into your realm of responsibility or your propinquity of sorts, this gives you an opportunity to utilize that portion of your overhead, in a manner of speaking, much more efficiently, because, hey, you got a list that's butted up against do not call, they can smile and dial on this and handle the request for this. And on the flip side of it, once someone expresses an interest in the program, they can also walk them through the enrollment process, because it's not an insurance product, no license required to sell it. It's also an opportunity for the clients, the folks that have this program, to utilize either a phone or a video to speak with the doctors that are associated with the program. So it's simple, and it doesn't require a whole bunch of technology on the part of your book of business in order for them to use it. It's a set monthly rate. of a penny over 10 bucks, $9.99 a month, no copays when the client uses the service, and it's available in all 50 states and with information available in 200 different languages. This is one of the things that you really need to consider this next point when you speak of, well, they've got a Medicare Advantage program that has a telehealth benefit as well, or it's covered under traditional Medicare. Now, we see where these are covered. The providers can be compensated with just traditional Medicare with the copays and other things that come with it, or even some of the med sups then that balance on that type of coverage where, gee, it might cover telehealth as well. We'll see some of the advantages that this can use because this, unlike a nurse line, you're talking to a physician, so they can prescribe medications over the phone with certain parameters here, where the nurse lines cannot. Requires a transfer or another call back in to do that. You'll see, too, that the doctors that are fielding the needs of our population have an average of 15 years experience. So you're not talking about a bunch of newbies that are going to have to go to an FAQ sheet to say, gee, do I do this? What do I do? You've got a balanced provider network on the back end that are fielding these questions and accommodating the request as they should. It's also important to note for us, it is a commissionable product, so it adds to your bottom line and creates an additional revenue stream for you. And much as I mentioned before, it creates that microsite that is specifically yours as well. So every agent has their own enrollment website that can be added to their own website as a link or as part of social media outreach and some of the other things that you can do to drive business to this at a minimum of investment of time and dollars. And that's always important for us because one of the purposes of this is not only to accommodate the needs of our prospects and clients, but also to drive additional business to ourselves and our agencies. So let's go through some of the frequently asked questions that we see about MD Live. It is, of course, an ability of a program where you can access a board-certified doctor via a secure online video or through a phone or through the MD app anytime, 24/7, 365. It's low cost. It's a convenient alternative to urgent or emergency care units. And it is a way of diagnosing things remotely and prescribing medications on an e-script that's sent to the pharmacy that the patient is using anyway. It is also important to note that it's not appropriate for every medical condition. You see this disclaimer on a whole bunch of programs. Anytime you call your doctor, I'm certain if you deal with that switchboard up front or the telephone system that says, if this is an emergency, please disconnect and go to the nearest emergency room or hospital. There are certain circumstances where that obviously applies here as well, and it's not something that should be utilized in case of a life-threatening emergency where they're counseling the person to dial 911 as well. So what do we see most commonly used in this program? Well, here's a listing of some of the things that we see most often, and we're looking at the top 20 here, basically. And it's some of the stuff that, you know, you run into yourself. It's that, man, I don't feel good. I really don't want to try to get into the doctor. I called the doctor. It's going to take me forever to get in. You know, the waiting periods, the demands that are there. Some of them, well, they may not even schedule a telehealth appointment until much later. And some of the stuff, you know, it's the old expression of, how do you treat a cold or the flu? Well, you can go to the doctor and they'll take care of it in about a week. If you ignore that and you self-medicate, it'll take 7 days. Well, that kind of stuff. It's nice to know there are ways of accessing medical advice on certain conditions that we have some challenges with satisfying a large copay or a deductible that we have for some of the things that we run across most often in our health circumstances. It's also important to note that the convenience factor of this is huge. The phone consultations are available around the clock, even on holidays. You can access it through the number or through the app, and they will actually put you in the queue for that discussion. It's available anywhere in the United States, and the doctors are shown to you, or the person accessing that care, I should say, as an individual fully licensed to practice medicine in the state, and you have ways of accessing actually a biography of those folks as well. It's very simple to pay for the service. If it's part of a group program, which is one of the marketing tips we're going to talk about in a little bit too, you may not, the individual may not pay anything at all, and the folks can be very flexible in, well, I set an appointment, now I don't need it, I'm going to cancel it. If it's within, prior to 24 hours, there's not a fee for that. We run across a lot of that with providers in the community, that if you don't cancel 3 days in advance of an appointment or a time period such as that, they still charge you a fee. And a nice thing about this is it accepts most major credit and debit cards as well. So most folks have credit cards now. It really accommodates how do we compensate the individual if there are fees that are associated with it. So we have to take into account also that there are a number of folks out there that basically their technology available to them starts and ends with their phone, their smartphone. Many of them may not have internet access or internet access easily accessible. And so we see that there's also an app, a mobile app for this that makes it very simple to access the system. And as I mentioned, the doctors that are part of the program, well, they're all board certified, average 10 plus of experience. A whole bunch of different conditions can be treated through the mobile app, online or by phone. And this is a vetted process where those associated doctors, well, their backgrounds are checked out. And the results are analyzed on a continuous basis. So they make certain that they do things to follow up with the docs. Once they're in, doesn't mean they're in forever. There are evaluations that are ongoing. And of course, as we've mentioned before, they can prescribe medications as part of that appointment. The program itself is very safe and very private. It is a circumstance where the doctor, if they recognize the condition is not within the scope of this type of appointment, where it shouldn't be handled by telehealth, they'll refer you to go to your primary care physician, where you should seek that care in person, the people with the program. And it's also fully compliant with HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which is that privacy thing that, hey, you go into your doctor, the updates, the HIPAA requirements, a lot of it comes into play. And so that information is held sacred in a manner of speaking, and only accessible to the folks that are part of the process of treating the challenges. The systems that are necessary in order to accommodate the video conferencing, well, you've got some of the different pieces in here that will talk to you about, well, you got a dial-up. I don't know if there are very many of them left. Probably not going to work. It requires high-speed internet. It does require certain capabilities within the systems on a computer, and certain requirements for resolution in order for it to come across clean on a webcam. And of course, you got to have a microphone available either through your phone or the computer to make certain that any type of video conferencing like that can be accessible. It's also an opportunity where once the program's set up, the person can check the configurations and make certain that they're able to access things virtually. You see that a lot on the different webinar requests that go out to you, like today's. You can check ahead of time if your systems are able to handle the requirements put about by the system. It also is an opportunity, once again, for that doc to prescribe drugs over the phone, medications, I should say. And it is also a capability that is limited to a prescription retail or prescription refill for that individual. I have this benefit as part of my base group coverage. And last June, my physician, my primary care doctor, retired. Getting into a new physician here in a major metropolitan area, I think it'd be very simple. But we had that little thing, that little pandemic going on. So Wait times to get into a doc, especially as a new patient, was pushed back. I had a number of prescriptions that needed refilled. I used the MD Live benefit to get my prescriptions refilled to take me to the next appointment that I could have with my new primary care. It's also a program that is set for folks that are of legal age. There may be contractual things that come into play there as well, but also you get into minors, you have to have the guardian or someone else come into play to make certain that this is taken care of for you as well. And as I mentioned, you got to have a reasonable explanation for the refill. Mine was, hey, my doc retired. I can't get into my new one. I need some help. It worked out pretty well. And it is also a circumstance where the prescription has to be something that has been in play for a 30-day period. So you got some limitations that come into play there. The program can also offer the opportunity to create a doctor note, boy, that was Freudian, to excuse absences from school or work. A lot of times working for large organizations, if you've been out for a period of time, you got to have a doctor's note to get back in. And you have that same circumstance for school as well. So this can accommodate that request too. All that said and done, with all these different pieces that come into play with what the program offers, how can we as agents market it? Well, they've got a great flyer that's available for you for multiple purposes, either with snail mail through the United States Postal Service or through social media, where you put in your information. It's fillable, and it takes care of that so you can reach out to the general public. Keep in mind, since this is done pretty much all virtually, the program itself, it can expand your reach, your propinquity, so to speak. So as you go on social media, you can handle people in a multitude of additional markets. The same with what you're doing with your marketing plan in a specific area as well. When you reach out, obviously, past the area where you're licensed for other products, well, that does limit what you can do. But hey, I live in Texas, 256 counties. I'm licensed in the entire state. I'm licensed across the country in a number of areas. But in the state of Texas, then I don't go down to the Rio Grande Valley very often. That's a longer trip for me than it is to Vegas. Give you a perspective of time and distance there. This enables us to expand that reach, and there are additional marketing materials coming very shortly for the program. Some ideas as how to market this program and how to maximize the value that comes into play. There may be a number of you that work the group market, and this is a great add-on to small and mid-sized employers. And telemedicine is forefront in the mind of a whole bunch of different people now. If they can't get it through group, well, reaching out to them individually, you can accommodate it on an individual basis as well. But if the person that you're dealing with says, hey, I don't have this benefit at work, I'm at this organization, it's a great way to get a lead in to that group as well. So you're looking for an individual that needs the program, but they may lead you to other individuals either through a straight referral basis or to where they go to work. Because keep in mind, this isn't just 65 and older, this product. It gives you then the opportunity to reach into other markets that you may not have considered or may be active in now as well. It's also a great perk where businesses can differentiate through this product. Hey, as part of our benefit package, we offer this great telehealth benefit, and it can help you in dealing with the employers in your market that, hey, everybody's hitting them up for group coverage. Yeah, they're only quoted every now and then according to their calendar or on their anniversary. It's a great way for you to get into that company and be able to access group benefits as well down the road should you choose to do so. It's also really a big help for folks that have families that are involved, and large families particularly, that makes things so much more convenient, where they don't have to worry about packing all the kids to go to the doctor's office because one of them is sick. And it's a great way as well to keep their family kind of segregated from each other, quarantined from each other, You know, a lot of times you have one kid get sick, all of a sudden the whole household has it if you have multiple children. It's a great way for you to address the initial cause, the typhoid malaria of the family, and then prevent the rest of the family from getting ill as well. It's also, as I mentioned, a great first line of defense for folks that have coverage, but they have huge deductibles or copays that come into play. And $120 a year is a heck of a lot less than some of the office calls, multiple office calls they may have for something that can be accommodated by this, or for folks that are reluctant to go because, hey, I've got that $10,000 deductible, multiples of that for my family that I really can't afford right now, the full cost of it. This is a great way of minimizing that financial outflow for something that of a family budget that doesn't need to be done as well. And also, I mentioned, we talked about the under 65 population that are on Medicare. And that comes about as because of a disability. In many circumstances, those folks, they have some challenges getting to the doctor in certain circumstances. And that might be folks that are disabled and aren't on Medicare yet. This ability to access care through a call or a video conference about a minor complaint or an ongoing issue can be a great stress reliever for that population as well. So if we look at the first 5 of these, we're seeing a way of reaching out into additional markets and accommodating a request of individuals that may be based purely on the dollars that are involved. But we also have the opportunity to help those folks that may be whatever age, but still travel for work. Because, hey, age 65, when we speak of the common perception of a Medicare beneficiary, many of them are what are referred to as the working aged. I am 61. I act 12, but I'm 61. And these folks, I'm in that time period. If I didn't have group insurance, I would be facing a lot of challenges with my budget on coverage that I have there as well. But folks of all ages, if they're still employed, travel might be one of the requirements that they have for work. And this is a way for a person to access care no matter where they are. And if they have a family member who is a student in college or on their own and a student in college, this can help accommodate the access to care with a schedule that may prohibit them from reaching out for a minor complaint at certain times of the day where they have other obligations. That goes, quite frankly, into folks that are working as well. And even if you are, in many circumstances, able to access an appointment with your doc, as I mentioned last year when I was changing physicians, you have some challenges with wait times to get into the appointment. And even if you have an appointment, sometimes those individuals, you go in, boy, you got to wait in the doctor's office too. It can suck up a whole bunch of your day. And for minor complaints, this is a great way of accommodating that sort of circumstance where time is of essence as well. For those of you that work in the more rural areas, sometimes a trip to the doctor can be all day. My home in rural central Nebraska, well, for some of the different pieces that are there, we have 2 clinics in town now, but they are associated with cities 18 miles in 3 different directions. That's not bad when it comes to travel time, but that'll suck up at least half of the day. And if you're going outside of that for some standard care in many areas in the more rural portions of the state, it's a long old trip and can take the whole day. This is a great time saver as well for those individuals. And it's also an opportunity for you to use this tool to network with some of your brethren in our industry for yourself. You have your own benefit package that come into play. This is a great addition for a program that you can sell yourself and take advantage of all these benefits that are offered and make others aware of the coverage as well. You can also create a downline, a hierarchy through this package that's pretty simple to do, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. If you have an individual, once you're set up in the program and you need to get them enrolled, well, gee, that's the purpose of the whole program. Once you receive your welcome letter, it includes your agent ID. It also includes the link to your agent sales website. This is the website your clients will use to sign up under you. And a second website will come to you, the information as well. That includes the welcome letter and the link that looks kind of like what's designated on the screen here. The client then clicks the member enrollment once they're on your website, and they'll fill out the required forms and the payment information, hit submit, and there you go. Within 48 hours of enrollment, they'll receive their welcome letter and be able to use the service. It is not underwritten by any stretch of the imagination, but the client does need to activate their account. So when they get their link, there'll be instructions on how to do that in their welcome email. You'll also receive, as a contracted individual for this program, that detail ahead of time as well, so you'll know how to address any questions they may have. I got to tell you, it's pretty simple. It shouldn't generate a large number of questions, but you know how that works sometimes. It's also important to note that MD Live is offered through Competitive Health. That's the company that offers this program. So some of the contracting emails may have that company name listed, so you need to know that that's associated with this program. You have an opportunity through your agent website as well to manage the current members that you have in the program, a portal system that enables you to view all your members as well as the commissions that are due to you. A great way to keep up on the folks that are utilizing the program. And of course, that administrative portal can be used to update the client's information. They can do it themselves, but you know how that works sometimes too. You're their servicing agent. They want you to do it for them in certain circumstances. Much as where an individual, as they enroll in the program, receives all that lovely information, the welcome email with detail about the program, you'll get something similar as you contract to talk about your administrative website and that client website, so you understand the machinations that come on with a program such as this. And this administrative portal gives you the opportunity to check on the enrollments, update the client addresses, as I mentioned, confirm billing, all those lovely details that come with any program that's being offered. It is an enrollment website that's personalized to you. So if someone's using your link for this program, you're the agent of record, you're the commissionable individual. It's also where you access the contracting information. So that website, it has agent sign up instead of enrollment in it. And this is the link that you would use if you're looking to set up a downline under you for this program. And you would send that link to your portal to those individuals that you're speaking with about this program that are contracting under you. Keep in mind that the program doesn't have any layout dates to it, but it takes about 48 hours for that client to be processed in the system so they can access the benefits. And they have to access that through the Activate Now button that's part of the email that's sent to them. So it'll ask them to verify their last name, date of birth, and you'll receive the MD Live setup to walk you through, you or your client, through the process of getting that account activated. Guys and gals, it's really simple. There shouldn't be a whole lot of questions that come into play with this, but you know how that works too. So it's important for you to be familiar with that process so you can help your folks. So all that said and done, it's a really simple program that enables you to reach out to a population that needs this benefit. A great way for you to prospect with a very non-threatening type of program that isn't being beaten to death in the marketing world. And it's a great way for you, once again, to establish another revenue stream. Come on, guys. At $9.99 a month, you know you're not going to get rich on it, but it's another revenue stream, another way of opening up additional prospects for you to bring them into your world that you're able then to contact them for other products as well. A great way for you to utilize a system that gives you multiple ways of reaching the population, either through social media, mailers, or through outbound telephone calls to a list that's butted up against do not call. So a great way for you to access additional help for your folks and for yourself and your agency through a very simple program. It's also a program that is part of the overall support system that you have in play for you from us here at Premier Marketing. We do have the software package that enables you to establish your agent profile and contract with multiple products electronically. I say that, and MD Live is not part of this program because they have their own system. It's not an insurance product, and that's all sent electronically. But it's a great way for you then to make certain that you have the programs to accommodate the needs of the people that you speak to in the process of making them MD Live policyholders in a manner of speaking, and gives you the opportunity to satisfy other needs and contract for those through this system. This is a program available to agents that's more important for insurance products, obviously, since MD Live doesn't require E&O on an insurance product. You'd want to make certain that you protect yourself regardless. But our discounted errors and admissions coverage for qualified agents, means you have a contract with us, covers you regardless of whom you're contracting through for other products. So in order to qualify for this, you got to have at least one contract with us, but it covers you for other programs that you may have as an independent agent with other marketing organizations. That's your prerogative, and that's what you need to do in many circumstances, but this will satisfy the need or the requirement from other insurance companies and other organizations for errors and admissions. We also help you keep your insurance license in play with discounted continuing education programs through our association with WebCE. And as I mentioned, where MD Live might be a great addition to your own benefit package, we also offer a non-cancelable DI program on a modified guarantee issue basis to you that you are paid a commission on as well. So you can also add to your own benefit package through this program for DI. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded and available to you 24/7, you can access the other programs that we've talked about in the past and recorded, the different products, different carrier, different marketing programs that are available to you through our website at premiersmi.com, as noted on the link before, or through our YouTube channel as well. Agents that associate with us for Medicare products, ancillary products, also have cost-free access to Medicare Center, and it is a system of enrollment that has a universal login for 3 different quoting opportunities. That comes with a CRM for you to manage and track your clients as well. So these are systems that are powered by Connecture, Sunfire, and CSG Actuarial. CSG Actuarial also has different cross-selling components that come into play, and each of these systems have the opportunity for you to solicit, obtain, and store that scope of appointment that is necessary to talk to individuals about many of the Medicare products that we speak to all the time. There are a number of different programs out there that do offer additional compensation to you through incentives and trips. The MA and PDP programs don't, because the max compensation for that set by the government. But Med Subs and ancillary programs do, in many circumstances, have additional compensation for you, and they help you qualify for the Premier incentive programs as well, all put in a singular place on our website so you can access that information very easily. The trip last year that we had planned, well, the pandemic took care of that. It mutated into here's some cash, up to $4,000 for agents as part of our incentives through Premier Marketing. Some of the other things that we'll provide for you: contact list ordered for you at low or no cost, butted up against do not call. And MD Live is one of those programs you can smile and dial. Very non-threatening, right forefront in the mind of individuals. Great way to do it. But you can also use the program through different community-based marketing programs. Retail, many folks, even though they're past AEP, are still maintaining a presence in the different retail locations. And I got to tell you, if you're not, you're doing it just for AEP, boy, you're not getting all the benefits out of that. But this gives you another thing to talk about. It's not on the scope. So you have different things that give you an opportunity to do it legally, but it's also a way for you to approach faith-based organizations and other delivery of care of the products that we offer generally in provider marketing, where it can be a topic for you to address on a group setting as well, should you choose to do it. In the provider marketing area, you have to be able to explain how this program doesn't pull that patient away from that provider, just gives them another access to the type of appointments where many of these providers are saying, hey, I can use some help in that area. Great way for you to leverage the possibilities of the program there as well. We do offer internet lead programs and direct mail support. That direct mail support is based on production. You're going to really drive down the cost of traditional mail programs, which is, hey, a tried and true system of reaching the individuals, but also a way for you to do that consistently. So think about it. It's like an exercise program. If you do it just once, you might feel some of the pain, maybe a little bit of benefit. You do it consistently, that's where you see the true return for you through this sort of marketing program. We do so with that program through preferred lead vendors because we vet the communications that go out, and we want to protect you on a compliance basis as well. Keep in mind, you got two different mail programs you can qualify for with Premier. One is for the health programs, so the basic programs of the Medicare programs and the ancillary programs that come as part of that classification. And then, of course, there's another one if you're active in the final expense arena where you can qualify for these programs twice within a month should the business be there. Many times folks will say, hey, that doesn't accommodate my budget, or I need something that's a little more rapid in response. Since a direct mail program that you set up on your own, then it's at least a 2 to 3 week turnaround to see some of the leads come back that way. They come back to you same day, so you can access them and hit them while they're really, really hot. We have two different direct mail response programs that enable you to purchase just the response off of direct mail. The cost on these will vary according to your area and the supply that's on hand, but it's a great way to augment your current lead system, your current prospecting plan, and fill in some of those programs on a stopgap basis at least as well to make certain that it's done. The internet programs that I spoke about earlier or alluded to earlier are Facebook programs for final expense and Medicare, a great way for you to set up that system as well to get, hey, we're in a microwave society in a lot of circumstances now. You can get fresh stuff pretty quickly off the internet, particularly through this program. It's also a way for us to express, hey, we want your business. We want the opportunity to work for you, much as the same outreach that you have with the public. Hey, I want to do business with you. I want to be your insurance agent. We want to be your marketing organization, and we're asking for your business in that circumstance. So if this program, MD Live, is something that you want to put in as a component of your personal marketing plan moving forward, watch for the follow-up we send out. Speak with the marketer within Premier that you've been dealing with. If you don't have a relationship with anybody within our organization, we'll set you up with a person that can help accommodate this. So simple to become involved, so simple to start with the gathering of enrollments and get that service out there to your population, but also that commission flow to you as well. So as I mentioned, the follow-up that's sent to you, you can respond to that. You can call the 1-800 number, 1-800-365-8208. Go to our website and inquire there as well. But it's like John Wayne said in the Cowboys, burning daylight. It's a great way for you to implement this program really quickly according to your desires and how you think it'll work into your own marketing program. So I'm going to check on some questions here. A number of these, pardon me, I should speak to this. What does an SEP mean? That's a special enrollment program or a special enrollment opportunity. It gives that individual the right to change their medical coverages under Medicare because that is set if someone's on an MA or PDP program. MedSups, they can change anytime they want. In many circumstances, that's dictated by state regulation or by underwriting, but the special enrollment period is something that applies to the folks in the Medicare space and on ACA programs as well, where they have to have that. They can prescribe ED medication. It is limited in scope, and it's something not like you see on a whole bunch of the advertisements that are out there. Limited. It's not the month-to-month source for that medication. What's the estimated wait time after a call is initiated? With me, when I used the program, I accessed an individual right away. It was within 5 minutes, and they then set up an appointment with the doc, and the doc called me back. In the 3 times that I used it for different medications, that call came within a half an hour. I can't say that's the case across the board, but that's what I've experienced, and wait times are minimal. A question as well, is it Premier Marketing the only IMO offering this program? I'll look straight into the phone and say, nope. Our platform partners in Integrity have it. There are other organizations offering it as well. We're not the only bear in the woods in this circumstance. We'd like to be your bear in the woods, but we're not the only one. Can a client cancel anytime? You betcha. It's not an obligation. It's not a contractual length on it. It's a month-to-month service as well. The commission was not covered because that's something we want to discuss with you on a one-on-one basis, and it could vary according to your circumstances. Is that a wishy-washy answer? Not really, because if you're looking to contract for additional folks within a hierarchy, that can have a bearing upon that commission, and we want to make certain, particularly with you, Kim, that we're handling it to your needs as well. So that said, that's all the answers or questions that I have that come into play. Whoops, one popped up here. Pardon me for a moment. Just as I said, that's what I got. Can Mdli be used with any insurance plan? Yes. And as I mentioned, perhaps not well enough as I went through things, in any of the choices that people have when they enter into Medicare, this can be layered on top of any of those programs, any of the choices they use to address their needs as a Medicare beneficiary. For the under 65 population, it can be layered on any group plan or any ACA or Medicare or medical sharing program that's out there. It doesn't interfere with that at all. So we want to make certain that it's available to anybody that needs it, and I think that's recognized by the organizations or the organization offering the program. So all that said and done, we realize your most valuable asset is your time. I appreciate the investment that you've made with us today to learn more about Mdli. I appreciate the association we may have had in the past with you. Not me personally, but with Premier Marketing, where we appreciate that business. We appreciate that relationship. We thank you for it, and we look forward to adding to it and being a even more active partner with you in your agency's pursuit of business as well. That said, another question pops up. Can this be used as a gift after an insurance sale without it being an illegal inducement? You know, that's a darn good question, and that's one I don't know. So that's one of the things that we'll make certain that we follow up and address with everyone, put it as part of the follow-up to today's presentation as well. So I'm going straight to the guru on top of the mountain and asking that Kim to make certain that I have that answer correct for you. So all that said and done, I want to thank you for the time you spent with us today. We look forward to speaking with you in the near future, be it live, virtually, or electronically. Our world's that way too, all of us, and I thank you for that time. So until that opportunity presents itself, we wish you good selling. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.